Good afternoon, friends, students, aspirants for geography, particularly geography optional. Here today, yes, I'm here. This geography for geography optional. Let me introduce myself for this briefly. My name is Pravin. Full name is Pravin Kumar. I have been the assistant professor, former assistant professor on ad hoc basis in Delhi University. I have been teaching geography optional and GS part of the geography for the last 10 years, as I started teaching in the 2009 for the IAS, and I started teaching for this geography as a particular subject in 2004 from Delhi University as an assistant professor in Sutherland College. So here I'll talk about the present scenario of geography optional. Number 1, here present scenario of the geography optional means how to deal. In the recent time, you might have seen there in the previous year's question paper, there has been a complete change. Changes have been observed there in the exam pattern, question pattern, and there the perspective of the geography has completely shifted from the traditional to the dynamic. So these changes making the students or the aspirants more confused. So what to study? So this here aspirants are confused in terms of what to study and what not. So because what and the what not scenario, or in the gap between the what and what not context, there has been the great confusion and the shift of the student from geography to the another options. Even some of the students are like they have been studied for the geography for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and those who are having and they are shifting to another option. I'll say here, once you have completed the most of the portion in the geography for 3 to 4 years, why to shift on another one? Why don't you this look out or this check out of their weak areas? Better you check your weak areas and then work out and get the good marks. So here in the present time, if you see, though geography is a bit confusing, the students are confusing, but still the students are getting the very good marks here in geography optional. So about the students are also getting the 300 plus marks. 300 plus marks means it is making sure to have the name in the list. So 300 plus marks you have to go for certain strategy. So it needs the strategy. Here we have to work what is that strategy. So if you go according to the syllabus, so here I'll enter there in the discussion of the geography optional. The strategy for geography optional in mains UPSC. Strategy for geography optional mains UPSC. So first I will start analysis of syllabus. Analysis of syllabus. This is the most fundamental exercise for beginners. This is beginners or the beginning exercise. So means if we do not analyze the syllabus, we will be studying aimlessly. Aimlessly means something we will study from some book, something we will study from some other book, and we will follow our what I can say, our forefathers, our ancestors in the UPSC. This is not a right approach. So this following the others is not a right approach. First, we self-analyze the syllabus. Some students will be from geography background, so they will have the bit of the idea of the syllabus of the UPSC, or idea of the syllabus of the geography, means the component which have been included there in the optionals like geomorphology, oceanography. So they must have studied there in their graduation programs. So in that case, they will be having some knowledge about this geographical this component and the geomorphology, oceanography, climatology and all. But some students are very, very new. So this I am saying this is for the beginners, for new students, beginners as well as new. So analysis of the syllabus is very, very important part of the preparation. So first analysis is, we have the two parts of the syllabus. The syllabus of the UPSC has been divided into the two parts. Number one, it is paper 1 and then paper 2, or I can write it this way, paper 2. Paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 deals with, and this each paper is of 250 marks. Each paper is of the 250 marks. So the paper 1 deals with, the topic part 1 is the principles of geography. Principles of geography means, the principles of geography means, so you might see in the you will see there in the each subject or each part of the studies, you take the political science, you take the history, you take the geography, you take the another science subjects or the science aspects. So there is always the principles. These principles are the basis of all later topics or components. So means the principles of geography is talking about how, why, where and what is there in the geography. This is very, very important part. How, why, where and what. So means this is the principle of the geography. Principle of geography means what, how is there, why is there, where is there and then what is there. Right? How means, suppose we take example in the principles of geography, our first topic is geomorphology. In the geomorphology, the geo means, I will take some glimpse of these topics also. I will take one by one topic by the other, followed by the others. So I will tell you the meanings of all these basic terminology, because these basic terminology understanding give you the big edge in the writing the answers. And these basic terminologies, where understanding of the basic terminology also give you help to understanding the whole syllabus. If you understand the whole syllabus, then only you can read or you can study the component, geography optional component in a better and the easiest way. So here geomorphology, geo means earth, morphology means structure. Geo means earth, morphology means the structure. Means what is the structure? I am talking about here is, I told you this. Principles means basis of the all topic. The principles means what, how, why and where. What is the structure of the earth? What is the structure of the earth? It is geoid. Why? Why it is geoid? Why it is geoid? Because of centrifugal force. Centrifugal force of the earth. So the central part of the earth is bulged and the two poles are pressed. So this is geoid due to the centrifugal force, where the geoid shape is on the polar zone. And how it is there? Because of the rotatory motion, rotation of the earth. The rotation of the earth has given it a geoid shape, and this geoid shape is due to this rotatory motion is responsible for the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is responsible for geoid shape, and this geoid shape is over the polar areas. I hope you can get it now. So earth structure is geoid. So in this term, this is principle. In the first of this, geomorphology. Geomorphology, first part of the optional topic. Part 1, geomorphology. So if we understand these basic things, we can easily understand the later topics. Suppose in the geomorphology, there is a topic is earthquake. Earthquakes are there. Volcanoes are there. And geomagnetism. The topics are the paleomagnetism. The topics are channel morphology, erosional surface, so these are the some component of the geomorphology. So I take this in a some small discussion of this, how, why, where and what in this as a part of the principles of geography. This is how the earthquake comes, because of plate movement or plate tectonics or tectonics. Why? So there is a why this is a convergent and divergent movement. This is in the title of why. Where the two plates, the margins, convergent margins. What is there? So what is there then? What is their impact? Their impacts come in this. So in the principles, so these principles are the basics. इसका हिंदी में इसको अगर बोलेंगे सिद्धांत, इसके कुछ एक प्रिंसिपल है, इसका कुछ some principles are there. So all the mechanism is taking place with the certain principles. So that principles are there in the geomorphology. So they all are not happening in all of a sudden. Some mechanism is there. Some mechanism is in earthquake. Some mechanism is there happening there inside the earth. Earth is having its magnetic properties and the characteristic due to some mechanism which has taken place inside the earth. So that is because of its principles of the earth. Why, what, where and how. Then after channel morphology, this all we talk about their internal forces, and then channel morphology, erosional surface or the slope is there out from the external forces. External forces. External forces means which are there active from the outside the earth or the active from the atmosphere of the earth. So these are the external forces. Right? So in this case, in this case, when external forces are active there, so how it is there applicable? How? Right. What? What is that channel? What is that channel? It is meander or sinuous channel or straight channel. Number one. Where this channel will develop? Where this channel will develop? So this channel will develop over the flat, featureless plane. Flat, featureless plane. Why it will develop? Why in the sense here is there is decline in slope. Decline in slope. Right? How it will develop? How will lead to the depositional process? Depositional process. So everything is there in the principles, the why, how, why, where and what. So this all component of the geomorphology is dealing with all, right? The second part of the principles of geography in the geography syllabus paper, one topic is climatology. So in the climatology, second part is a number one, number two is climatology. In the climatology again we will come on that principles of geography, how, what, why, where. So how climate? In the climatology we have the topics like temperature, we have topics like wind, circulation, we have the subtopic like another topic is there in the syllabus in climatology, that is atmosphere, wind circulation or the atmospheric circulation. Then after cyclone, climate classification, or then after there is air masses, and then after climate classification. Again going back on the principles, these principles are the principles also will be applied over here in the topic of climatology. So first you understand what is the meaning of the climatology. Climatology means scientific study of the climatic component or the climatic change. So this is called climatology, means scientific study of the climatic change or the climatic component. First, temperature. If I say this temperature is always a dynamic phenomena. So there is always a change in the temperature. Sometimes temperature is high, sometimes it is low. So why is it is there? Why temperature is high? Again comes high. Again coming on this part, why temperature is high? Why temperature is low? Some atmospheric condition must be taking place over there, and this high and low temperature is responsible for bringing the change in the atmosphere. So here this is ending up with the change in the high and low temperature, right? Wind circulation has always been driven by the temperature and pressure condition, and why these winds are moving, where they are moving, how they are moving, and what conditions are responsible. Again is coming in the principles. Cyclone, we are very much aware and affected, particularly the coastal people. coastal states, coastal districts are more knowing about the disastrous effect and the impact of the cyclone. So they must be knowing about this, where everybody knows in the coastal areas. Important principle in the cyclone is why. And then what changes are taking place in the cyclone as the part of the principles of geography. Then after, how it is taking place, and then later on the impact. So this is all about the principles in the climatology. What, where, why and how. Don't forget these words in the principles. All the principles are moving in this around. In all the component, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, everything will be surrounding of it in these all principles. So these are the basic principles of the geography. Then after, similarly, oceanography is there. In the oceanography, topic 3 in the geography, oceanography, there is temperature of ocean, salinity is there, then ocean current, then after tides, then after their ocean lives are there. So these are again will be dealt with the principles, basic principles. Temperature, what is temperature over in a particular ocean? We will find there that all the oceans not having the uniform temperature or the same temperature. We will find there the all temperature water are the temperature of the water in the ocean is not same. We will find the temperature over the polar areas is more cold than the equatorial. Equatorial temperature will be more warmer, so the temperature will be light, and the temperature over the polar area will be dense. So here temperature, but why it is there? Why temperature is high and low, and why the variation in the temperature is recorded there in the equatorial and the polar areas? Because here will be why reason. Why reason is there the equatorial region coming back on the temperature of the climate. So means this oceanography is interlinked with geomorphology and climatology. So there is a complete application of or interlinking of climatology and geomorphology. So in this part, in the climatology and oceanography part, so we are talking about the temperature, different latitudinal temperature over the earth. So that is making the temperature of the sea water warmer and colder. Polar areas, poles cold, lower latitude warm. So temperature will be high in the lower latitude, temperature will be cold in the higher latitude. So there will be the temperature or the climate will be determinant factor for the ocean temperature. Similarly, we come on the second part, salinity. In the salinity part, somewhere salinity is very, very high, somewhere salinity is very, very low. Salinity means the amount of salt dissolved in the water. That is 1 kg of the how much amount of the salt is dissolved in the water in the 1 kg of the water. So that is the amount of salinity. So in this salinity part, in the salinity test topic, so again it has been linked with the temperature and density of the water. So it has been studied by the different researchers in the different part of the world, that the higher the salinity is recorded in the areas of the lower latitude, in particularly the tropical areas. So this salinity will be high. Why so? Because their seas are receiving more insolation, number one. Number two is size and openness of the oceans and the seas. If the size is bigger, the salt dissolved in the water will be mixing, and if the size of the sea is smaller, so there the salinity will not be, or the salt will not be dissolving. Then after, the amount of sodium present in the water will be accumulated over the smaller area. So the per 1000 kilogram of the water will have the more amount of salinity. Salinity will be high. Openness of the sea, if the sea is opened or the wider, then the water will be mixing. So in this case, if the water is mixing, then their salinity, the sodium also will be mixing. So it will be equal distribution or the redistribution of the salt in the sea water. In this case, there will be moderation of the amount of salt there in the water. For example, I will give you the example one. The salinity in the Red Sea is greater than the Arabian Sea, because Red Sea is more or less enclosed, but Arabian Sea is more wider and open. So northern part Arabian Sea is enclosed, and in the southern part Arabian Sea is open. So in this case, so when we go for the distribution of the salinity, again that principle comes. Why, where, how, and what. This all four principles comes. Why salinity is high? There is size and openness. Where it is, the water bodies. How it is, accumulation, and what is. So that what will lead to the factual information. What is the salinity of the Red Sea? What is the salinity of the Arabian Sea? What is the salinity of the Atlantic Ocean? What is the salinity of the Pacific Ocean? So this will come in the what? Again, I am going back to the principles, component of the principle. These component of the principles are how, what, why, and where. So this will be dealing under this principle, basic principle component. Similarly, ocean current. So these are the principles of the geography we have to go about. So first part of the geography is principles of geography. In the principles of geography, we have climatology. Number 3, we have oceanography. Number 4, we have biogeography. Number 5, we have environment. How? Now see. So these all principles, they have been also called, or they have also been the part of physical geography. Or in another way, we classify it as a physical geography of world, because we are taking the different theories which is applicable there in the Europe, which is applicable there in the USA, which is some applicable there in the Asia, Australia, South America, including India also. So some examples we are taking from the world, different part of the world, some of the example we are taking from the India. So that is why this is the world geography, physical geography of the world. So we will be taking the example of the world. So this is part of the world geography. Second part of paper 1 is the human perspective. I am taking this in a little bit detail, so that or this is human geography. First part of the second part of this paper 1 is human geography. Now, human geography is the, if you go and see there in syllabus, the human geography first deals with the perspective in the human geography. First topic is perspective in human geography. I will write here HG. Then after, the second part is economic geography. Economic geography. Number 3 is the population and settlement. Population and settlement. Number 4, there is a regional planning. Regional planning. Then after, number 5 is there the models and theories. Models, theories, and their laws in human geography. So these are the, this is second part of paper 1, part 2 of paper 1. Now here up to this part, this physical geography, we have been studied what is there, what mechanism, physical aspects are there, what mechanism is taking place. Now here on this part, this whole formation, the evolution, the structure is influencing of all these activities, influencing of the human being. I am repeating again. The influence or the impact of all these principles, influence of all the component of the physical geography is influencing the human activities. Therefore, economic geography has evolved, population settlement has evolved, regional planning has evolved, models and theories has evolved. कैसे आया? The geographical, the physical condition is determining the economic activities in the world. I'll take oceanography. Oceanography deals with ocean currents. Oceanography deals with corals. Oceanography deals with the temperature of the oceans. So all these are the favorable and unfavorable, both the condition in terms of the providing favorable ground for economic activities of the by the human being. Ocean currents are responsible. These all the three conditions are responsible for developing the fishing grounds of the world. So fishing grounds of the world has been developed or has been provided naturally to the particular location in the world or in the oceans. So that is promoting, that is providing favorable condition for the fishing in the world. Eastern part of North America, western part of Europe in the North Sea or the Norwegian Sea, eastern parts or western part of South America. Though climatically it is very adverse condition is there because of Atacama Desert, but still Peru is one of the largest producer of the fish in the world due to that ocean current advantage. Then after the east part of this the Japan, again the advantage of the ocean current. Again their western part of Australia, southeastern part of Australia. These are the big fishing grounds of the world where these countries are having this big production of the fish. Because of physical conditions which has been provided by the oceanic and the climatic condition, making favorable ground or the favorable condition for performing the economic activity by the human being. has given the birth to economic geography. So again, here also we will go for the principles in geography. How, what, where and why. How, what, where and why. Again, we have talked about fishing, why, fishing, where, fishing, what and how. So these all in the principles of geography are dealing with the economic activities, or also applicable there in the economic activities. Then after population and settlement. Population is always dependent on the favorable physical condition. What is that physical condition? So there should be moderate temperature. The terrain should be flat. The water should be available. Then only population will be residing, or the population settlement will take place. So in this condition, in this favorable condition, or we can say where these favorable conditions are available, particularly physical favorable conditions are available, the population concentration is very, very large there in the world. I count one or two examples. Indo-Gangetic Plain, or particularly Gangetic Plain in India, the large population concentration in the India, number one. Number two, Southeast Huanghe River Plain. Number three, there Mississippi Plain of the USA, so that is large concentration. Thereafter, Egyptian Plain, delta of the Nile River. Thereafter, there is delta of the Volga River is also well populated, or the concentration of the population is very, very good. Why so? Delta or the plain region is flat plain, physical condition. The plain is flat, featureless plain, which is highly suitable for the construction of the houses, favorable condition, no any other obstruction, no other disturbances from the climatic condition. That is a favorable condition, right? Then after we talk about there in a physical condition, temperature. Temperature is also a part of the physical here in climate. So favorable climate is always beneficial or favorable for the concentration of population. In this favorable climatic condition, we do not find the concentration of population in the polar areas correct, because extreme cold condition prevails where the living by human being is highly difficult. We have the best example, the people our soldiers are there on the Siachen glacier. They are living in the very, very harsh or the extreme conditions, so which is not favorable. So they live there for only 40 to 45 days and come back to the lower valleys. Favorable conditions are not there in the low temperature. Extremely high also. They are in the Sahara desert, in the Saudi Arabian desert. In the very, very interior of the desert, the population is very, very absent. In the best example also we have Thar desert of India. So in Thar desert, population is very, very poor. Parallel to the Thar desert, you come to the east, it is flat plain. Population is highly concentrated. And accordingly, settlement is generally divided, or they usually divided into cluster settlement and dispersed settlement. Cluster or dispersed or scattered settlement, or here cluster settlement. Cluster settlement the cluster settlement again divided into different categories. Town is there, then after cities are there, urban villages are there, or the urban areas are there. So that is in the settlement part. Again, the settlement is determined or controlled by the physical condition. Mountainous area has the dispersed settlement. The desert areas have the dispersed settlement. So desert areas, the population or the settlement you will find mainly near the water bodies. Again, the physical aspect. physical condition, favorable for the growth of the population as well as settlement. Then after it comes to the regional planning. Regional planning. Region. We have a region. This is a region here. We have large area of over a space available for the utilization. That is a region. Now we have to plan this region accordingly for the development or any of the use. Now we have to see this regional planning or this region to be planned for what purpose, or which plan will be suitable for this region. For example, we have the hilly region, desert region, then after coastal region, industrial region. Means what? Why we need a plan for this? We need a separate plan for this all the regions, because we cannot implement the plan of one region to the another. One differs from the another. Hill area differs from the desert areas. Desert areas differs from the coastal areas on the basis of physical condition. We cannot implement the plan of the desert to the coastal areas, the plan of the coastal areas to the hill areas, and the plan of the hill areas to the any of the rest of the areas. Because here each region, they have their own physical characteristics, own physical advantages and disadvantages. So we have to study this region very deeply, then we have to make the plan and implement them for the purpose of development. So our area will be focused over the specific plans, right? Then after, models and theories are there in the human geography. So many of the scholars, many of the scientists, human scientists have studied different areas, settlement, population, and then different regions of the world in a different part, and they have observed and evolved a conclusion with a certain laws, theories, and the models on the basis of observation. So they develop some particular type of the model, they develop some particular type of the theories, they develop some particular type of the laws. For example, a model is a central place model or the central place theory. A model is von Theunen model. Von Theunen model is completely based on the empirical analysis. What he observed there in Germany, he has simply described the behavior of the people, and then after the people are practicing there or their economic activities and their land occupation or the land cover, land use. So he has developed an agricultural model, how the land has been utilized for different purposes. Models. Theories and the laws. Some laws have been followed by the people. They are moving in a particular direction. They are following some particular pattern of their behavior that comes in the laws. Some theories are there. Some theories have been developed on the basis of some mathematical techniques and their formulas. I have skipped here. I will talk about on this. Just one. Here models. So these models are based on the particular analysis, particular observation, what different scholars, researchers have propounded on their time, and they have been the part of the studies in the geography. That again also have the influence of the human behavior and the human activities, and they have also been presented on the basis of human behavior and the human activities. For example, the migration laws, for example, the central place theories. So they all have been studied on the basis of the human behavior and the human activities in a particular area. Then after, some population theories are also there, again on the social and the economic activities of the human being. So then they have been a particular observation in a one trend, one direction. So the people have given the some models and theories. Their role in the geography is very, very greater in terms of study as the study matter there in the geography. All based on empirical analysis, all based on the empirical analysis and the quantitative techniques. Coming back here, I am leaving this space, this topic, perspective in human geography, taking it last. And I suggest you one thing personally there. So I am suggesting you very authentically, because as I have done my geography honors from Delhi University. I have done my geography. I am this masters in from Delhi School of Economics in geography. MPhil also there from Delhi School of Economics. So all my of this geography experience for the last 20 years. This topic is more or less, I have seen the people, they are more confused, and then it is a philosophical. People are understanding least, and then after they are not capable to, or they are not able to understand this topic easily. So this topic is little philosophical approach is there. So I suggest you take it in the last. Once you have understanding of this all, physical aspect you have the understanding of all, you have the understanding of economic, population, regional, and then models and theories. Then you start this topic, perspective in human geography. Then only you will be able to understand. Because this is a complete crux of the geography. This is complete application of the philosophy of the geography. It gives you the opportunity to think about the environment, to think about how the geography has evolved, and how the geography and the nature has been in the past of this 19th and 20th and the 16th and 17th century. So you have to think of, you have to go in that period. In your thought, the geography was evolving, geography has evolved at that time. So that perspective should be developed there. Perspective means it is my own opinion, my own thought, my own approach to the human geography. I hope you understand now. So I suggest you this all complete it first. Take this topic at the last. If you are stuck here, you will not be able to do this all. If you are not understanding this, you will not be understanding this. If you are not understanding this, this topic is beyond the approach of the understanding if you are not in their comfortable zone of the rest of the topics. Right, next. I will start with the perspective in the geography. Perspective in the geography deals with, I will take it separately here. Okay. Perspective in the geography is here. Meaning of the perspective. Meaning of perspective is my opinion and my thought. Perspective of in human geography. My thought, what is my thought towards the human geography? Towards human and, I will separate them, human and geography. Right? When geography evolved as a subject, it was a nature only. It was not a complete geography. It was a nature. So geography was dealt as a nature. Geography was dealt as the environment. Geography was dealt as a plant, rocks, mountains, valleys, rivers, and then the life on these trees, animals. So this was dealt with the nature. And this nature interaction with the humans interaction with the nature, so they became one. Now, what is my thought towards the human and nature, or the man and nature? I am taking some of this glimpse of this. Suppose I am a person who is living in the mountain region, and one of my another friend, the person too, is living in the desert areas, and both these two person has never met each other. This person one, myself, and another person, this is living in the desert areas, interior of the land, assuming that they are in the Himalayan zone, assuming that the another person is there somewhere in the Sahara desert, somewhere in the interior of the Thar desert. They have not met each other ever. So, the person one who is living in the mountain will have the different perspective about the nature. So, he will say the nature is very, very beautiful, the nature is very, very sound, it gives the ample of opportunities to grow the human being, it gives the fruit, it gives the fodder, it gives the fuel to live a comfortable life. It gives some food also, it gives the fruit also, it gives this fodder also, it gives the fuel to keep their body warm in the different conditions. So, the nature is very, very beautiful. This person says. Another person, this is living in the desert areas, he will say, he will have the different perspective about their nature, it will have the different perspective about the nature. What he will say, my God, nature is not so friendly to me, nature is not caring for me, nature is not giving me food, nature is not giving me any of the fodder, nature is not giving me any of the fuel, my family is so in a bad condition, so the nature is so bad. So, these two person has the two ends of the poles in terms of their perspective describing the nature. Who is right? The person one is right or person two is right? Both are right. This person is also right, this person is also right. So, means the nature, the environment, the nature they are living, then they are describing. No one is incorrect, no one is bad. So, the person is describing according to his surrounding nature. The person one is describing according to his surrounding nature. So, he is saying the beautiful nature is there. He is saying the nature is very, very bad and they are not giving me anything. So, this is perspective. How do I perceive the things? Mujhko, what I see, that I describe. This is perspective. Now, the nature is this growing naturally or its own pace or phase, but it is human who is interacting with the nature. They are describing the nature's parameter according to his interaction. So, it is becoming the perspective of the human being. So, in totality of the human being's perspective is called the perspective in human geography, simple. What is the perspective of the human about the nature? That is thought. What is my thought? What is the thought of my friend who is living in the desert areas? It will vary. We will meet some one day in between and he will start describing his own story, I will start describing my own story. Both differ, the two ends of a pole, or the two poles of this earth. So, but we have the perspective, we have our own thoughts about our own environment because we have not interacted. Then again, I go to his place, I go to his nature, he comes in the area of my nature. then he gets surprised. The nature is also like that. Nature is also different. Then new story evolves. So there is this is, what is it? Balanced approach. Balanced approach comes in nature. अभी क्या हुआ मेरा? Now I have started balancing my approach. Earlier it was so harsh. Here was so beautiful. Now I have been to the desert areas. My friend has gone to the mountainous areas. Now this balance is my view has been balanced. So now balanced approach has evolved. So this is the perspective, how we are thinking about the human geography, how we are thinking about the nature. So that is all about the views. So in perspective, different people, different scholars, the researchers, who have traveled the world, different part of the world, they are describing the nature in their stories or in their descriptions. So they are dealing this perspective in the different aspects. They are dealing with this perspective with their own thought. They are dealing with the perspective with their own interaction, how they have interacted with the nature. So their perspective always vary. So in this here, in this part, there are the different scholars. Americans describing geography in a different perspective. Here there is American school of thought. Here German school of thought. Then after French school. Britishers are there, British school. Right. Then after some Arab traders, the contribution they are has also been the Arab traders contribution has also been they are taken into consideration because they have described so many things, so many areas of the world. Then after there is some Indian scholars are also there, though we do not have to go for this in the detail of this, but just to understand. Here American school says, American school has, school means what? American school means a uniform ideology, uniform thought. They have the one thought, uniform thought. Means the Americans are describing geography in different perspective. Germans are describing geography in a different perspective. French, Britishers, they are describing the different perspective, or European geographers, they are describing in a different perspective. On the basis of their surrounding areas, on the basis of their society, on the basis of their economic activities in their countries. So their perspective towards geography is very, very different. Some says geography should be studied this way, some says geography should be studied this way. This is the right approach to the geography, this is the right approach to the geography. One approach to the geography is correct and the two approaches to the geography is correct. So they are having the different views. What I told you, one is describing the nature in another way, another is describing the nature in another way. So they all are giving their views in a different perspective. One nature, two nature, three nature, like that. So this all is a perspective. So this perspective will definitely give you a little bit hard work, but take it in the last. Then after you will understand after this completing of the whole paper 1. Then you can understand it. Right? So you go to the sequence of this. First you complete part 1. Then leave this perspective, take the population, take the regional planning, take the models and theories, take the economic geography, but leave this perspective in human geography for the last. Now, here next. In the recent time, the approach to question framing is changing this very fastly there in the paper 1. The paper 1 is absolutely the structured syllabus. Do not have to go beyond this syllabus. This paper 1 is, this whole part of the paper 1 is this is structured. This is whole structured part of the geography. Do not have to go beyond the limit. Means this part is static. It is very, very static. So, as it is static, you have to focus over their depth, knowledge, including terminologies. So there is certain terminologies have been used in this geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, environment, perspectives, like there was question on time and space, behavioral, welfare, behavioral, humanistic, so you should know such type of these terminologies, what are the meaning of these terminologies, then you can write the answer properly. So major shift from paper 1 in terms of the framing the questions. So here big change started taking place. Shift in paper 1 started taking place from 2009. Before 2009, the questions were very, very simple. The questions were approachable. The questions were straightforward. Not much of this effort was required. So if you are reading one book, that is enough. Then go and read that thoroughly, and you will get the question easily, straightforward, easy question, and you write completely, then you will get the marks. But from 2009, they moved or they shifted from the boundaries. They started moving away from the boundaries of the syllabus or the boundaries of the topic. Though they have given this topic there in the syllabus, but that topic also have some hidden subtopics. So what it is there in the traditional books, in the traditional books, their topics are given, and they beyond this framework or beyond the limit, they have described that topic in a very, very small paragraph. So UPSC started making the twist on that. What the twist they made? They started fixing over the subtopics, small areas. One thing is to focus over here. Here on this, the main topics, they are asking the question of like long questions. Suppose 20 marks questions. But when they are shifting on the small topics, they know UPSC to some extent, I will say UPSC to some extent is friendly, student friendly. They know they have the limited resource. Resource with the students are limited, and when they are going beyond this framework or this boundary, they are asking the question on the 10 marks. This is very important to understand, which usually the students do not know, they do not understand what is the limit and what the limit is, what there should be the limit of the writing the answers. So here, the limit here is when they are going beyond the certain topic or when they are going beyond the certain boundaries, they are not playing with the student. They are giving them the opportunity to write, even though this is the 10 marks. In 10 marks, according to the question is, you have to write 150 or that 150 words is enough. But here, what they want, don't be stick with this boundary. Think beyond the box. Go beyond the limit. Go beyond the limit of exploration. Expand thought. So they have forced student to think beyond the particular framework. Now, what was that? In 2009, they started. They asked the question on the highlight the geomorphic features essential found in the topographies under the second cycle of erosion. Second cycle of erosion. Topographic features under the second cycle of erosion. Of this, now what is the second cycle of erosion? The second cycle of erosion is where the erosional cycle ends. From there again, the another cycle starts. So means there has been the sequencing. Again the formation of new features, or there is a breakage in the slope, then the second cycle starts. So it is not dealing with the second stage of the cycle, this normal cycle of erosion. So where the cycle is ending, from there only this another cycle is starting. So what the people they do, the students, they usually now in the present time they have started going, that is true. They have started going beyond the certain limit after 2009. But here also, to what extent we should go, the thing is. So what the UPSC will ask, that is a big question. Abhi kya karna hai dekhiye. When we are studying this some part of the main topics, when we are studying the main topics, part of the main topics, you must also touch to the peripheral areas. Must read the theories which the sub-known or the secondary scholars have given. Like for example, cycle of erosion has been particularly known for the Davis and Penck, L.C. King. But UPSC is asking the fourth scholar, the cycle of erosion given by the fourth scholar. Again, for this later on fifth scholar, again another scholar, there the problem comes. So means there, when we are talking about here this of the particular topic, just go in the peripheral areas also. Though it is small, but you must have this, the idea what he has said, that you could write at least any of the surprise question is there in the exam, you should be able to write the 150 marks with the diagrams. So that is the peripheral topics, sub theories. You should go this. So cross the boundaries, cross the limit, there you will find this new ideas. I hope you understand now. Right. So after 2009, so this trend continued. In 2013, these 2013 to I'll say 2017, UPSC has been asking some tough questions. These tough questions are, they have been shifting from physical geography to human geography. Physical geography to human geography. Before this part, or rather before the 2009, their emphasis was towards a physical geography more and less of human geography. Now their shift from physical geography to human geography is because of the two reasons are there. Number one, two reasons are there behind this shifting of the physical to human. In physical geography, for the last 10, 15, 20 years, they have asked most of the topic going even into the interior part. So, in this part, in this physical geography part, nothing left to ask. Therefore, they had to cross the limit. They had to cross the boundary. If they are asking the question from this physical part, they had to cross the boundary, number one. Number two, as they have already asked from this part, the only option for them to ask the question is human geography. So nowadays, in the last 4 to 5 years, they have been more switching over towards the human geography. What is then our strategy? Accordingly, we have to shift with the nature of the examination. Right? When up to the nature of examination, as the UPSC people, they are shifting. I assume, as being a geographer, as being the part of the geography for the long years, or almost as a part of the full time engaged with the geography for the last 20 years, I make one more analysis out of these all the this analyzing this nature of the questions. I make one more analysis. That analysis is, earlier some senior professors used to be there in the panel. For example, like our late Majuri Sen sir was there, one of the member in the panel, right? Our Kuller sir was there, one of the member in the panel. So they were focusing over the physical geography, right? Or some of the physical geographers of India, renowned physical geographer of India, were there in the panel. So therefore, they were more strict with their subject matter or their specialization. But now, as a trend, as I have done the MPhil also in the geography, as a trend in the universities or the trend in the researches in the universities has also shifted towards the human geography, human and economic geography. So probably the this professors, new paper setters have come there in the panel. In that case, the obvious pattern is to decide is to switch over towards the human geography and to frame the more number of the questions from the human geography, because it has unexplored area in the human geography. So I'll say give a balance to this both. No doubt, focus more on the human, don't leave physical, but there keep practicing physical also, more this analytical approach towards the physical geography, economic geography or the human geography, right? So this is my own analysis. It's not, do not have any source. This is my own analysis on the basis of the analyzing the changing pattern of the exam, analyzing the questions which are coming there in the exams, and then after, as of being a geographer, as of being in this somehow expert in the geography, being doing an MPhil, UGC NET and everything. So in that case, I can analyze this subject matter, that someone is there who is belonging to the human geography or the economic geography, who is more focusing over it, right. Okay. So this is the trend analysis of the UPSC. Now, how to deal with this part? Number one is I have told you paper 1 is static, means we have to study once the paper is static, it means we have to study this part of the geography in its original form. No need to make any changes. जैसा है उसको ऐसा ही पढ़ना है. It means we have to insert the things in our mind as it is. Some theories are there, some laws are there. We cannot change in them, we cannot give our view on them, but we have to give what they have said and their application is in the relevant time. So here static and then relevancy in present context. In the present context, here in the of paper 1, this is now started focusing over it. For example, if the question is asked in the physical geography or the principles of geography, part 1. So here they will focus more on the relevancy in the present time. If they are asking the question on models and theories, and laws in geography. So this is most static part. This is most static part of the geography. So, or the paper 1. So here what they are making here, making the changes over here, they are asking these the theories, laws, models, application in the or the relevancy in present time. Today's word. Why? Why today's word? Because the word today is not as similar it was there earlier in the 1 century ago, or 50 years, 30 years ago. The word is not there like the same. So today in the age of globalization, how do they are relevant? We have to link it with the current information. We have to be ready for the current data. I hope you are understanding this approach. This approach is very much important to understand. If we do not understand this approach, then difficult to tackle with this geography optional. It is very difficult to handle this probabilities of asking the questions. What they ask the question, how do they will ask. Because of this, because the student do not understand, that is why after the fed up of this one attempt, two attempt, or the continuous failure, not getting the proper guidance, not getting the proper approach, and not having this very negative report from the seniors, or under the influence of the seniors. So they get distracted and they leave to the other optional. Again they spend 2 years more for preparing another optional. They have already spent 3 years in the geography optional. Again they have spent 3 years in the another optional. So it becomes the 5-year planning. Don't go for the 5-year planning. 5-year plan ke liye there are so many. We have ministers, we have the economists. We have to go short and the most accurate strategic plan for clearing the exam. यहाँ पे 5 साल के लिए करने के लिए नहीं है. We have the 5-year planning in the researches. We are doing it on your place. Okay. So here the relevancies of the today's time, it is very, very important in that case. So today's approach application is most required here in the paper 1, right? And then after some part of the physical geography, there has been a very, very big changes. There has been a very, very big changes in our physical aspects, context. अब वो क्या change है? What these changes are? Number 1. The number one change is climate change. This climate change has forced us, or the global warming has forced us to rethink on our physical economic activities. How is it? The topic there in the paper 1, climatology. In that topic, the last topic is a climate change and applied climatology. So the recent changes in temperature, the climate has forced us, or the climate change has forced us to rethink about our economic activities. So that is why they have started focusing over the recent international attention on environment, on climate, and economic activities. Once these activities are met, or these activities are controlled and have been studied with a complete matching with human activities and the environmental favorability, so they will be shifting on to the other area. But here is very important part is they are more asking the new aspects. For example, they asked the question in the 2012. The question was IGBP. What is IGBP? What is IGBP and its relevancy and its relevance? Abhi now. अभी IGBP क्या है? This was the question in 2012, right? So in this case, they are asking you to be aware about the present changes or present happening. What is it? IGBP. IGBP is a International Geosphere Biosphere Program. This is International Geosphere Biosphere Program. Abhi they are giving in the abbreviation. They are not giving the full form. This is also a big problem. They want you should have the very thorough information. You should have the focused studies. They are not asking. They do not want the people those passing the time there. Those who are not serious. They want a very committed, attentive, deserving people in the administration. So once you have this complete thorough studies, only then you can go for the writing the answer in the proper way, right? Surely next. So here, for all these aspects in the complete paper 1, now knowing the approach, the mind of the examiner, knowing the this trend of the asking the question in the paper 1 is changing. Knowing this, paper is static, structured, asking the application relevancy. Now the question arises here. Now here the question arises, what to study or books or references, right? So, okay. So here what is the reference, what to study? In this part, in the paper 1, it is very much unfortunate, I will say. It is very much, I will say this is no static material is available there in the market, or no static book is there in the market. So it means we cannot rely there on any of the guide, even though guide was also not available. So we have to do a work hard. We have to do a here we have to go for the hard work is the only key to understand and pass this topic, this paper. So what is this hard work? In the hard work, self analysis, number 1. Number 2, exploration of sources. Number 3, exploration of sources. Number 3, learning, application of the concepts. Learning application of this concept. अभी कैसे आएगा तो ये सेल्फ एनालिसिस कैसे करना है? हाउ टू गो फॉर द सेल्फ एनालिसिस? एक्सप्लोरेशन ऑफ न्यू सोर्सेज. सेल्फ एनालिसिस मीन्स interlinking of topics. For example, geomorphology, oceanography, they are interlinked. Climatology, they are interlinked. Climatology, oceanography are interlinked. Geomorphology, oceanographies are interlinked. So you have to go for this analysis. So analytical approach must be learnt selfly from this study or the analytical approach of the studies. Number 1. Number 2, the source what you are having. On the basis of analysis, or I'll say exploration on the basis of previous questions. कैसे होगा ये? If we know the cycle of erosion, if we know the slope development, if we know the earthquake, if we know the erosional surface, if we know applied geomorphology, so means whatever this beyond the boundaries, the concepts are given there in the books. Don't leave them. Must touch and restudy them, and must read them. Must have the information about them also. then only it will be possible. So that their exploration and analysis on the basis of previous question, previous papers are very, very important. So this analysis is must on the exploration. Then after third part, learn it. I have told you this application part. Apply it, one topic with the other. Then you can write the economic geography with the population settlement, regional planning, and then after models and theories in a human geography perspective and all. So this is the application. So here in this part, when you will go for this studying and exploration, then you will find some new ideas, new theories are there in the books that you have to go for it. You have to must learn on it. Yes. Then the sources, references are very, very important. I will talk about separately for the paper 2. I am discussing now till now the paper 1 reference. It is physical geography by Savinder Singh. Any of the geography student is there, they never forget to read the Savinder Singh. So the first is Savinder Singh. Then after in the physical geography you will find this geomorphology. Then after oceanography, and then climatology also in this physical geography, world climate. Then after number 2 reference is Rupa Made Simple. So these are the 2 books. So these two books are there. One is physical geography. Then after number 2 is socio-economic geography. Right. In this Rupa Made Simple, they have given very concisely which is required to write there in the answer. Right. So this book is must to read, particularly the slope development chapter, Weber's theory model, and after von Thunen model. It is beautifully given there. So Rupa Made Simple. Then after, for another important part, environment and biogeography. Environment and biogeography. You have there one traditional book is available there, Savinder Singh. Savinder Singh. But here in this part, what is there to what is important to notice over here is Savinder Singh will give you the traditional information. But here in this part, they are asking, like I have given you the example, there was IGBP. So in this, for such type of the questions in paper 1, you have to go for the reports. Reports which is recently released. So this is very, very important. So some of the reports are there in the news. This question was asked, IGBP, International Geosphere Biosphere Program. So this agreement was made in the 1987, was about to expire in the 2015. So they asked the question in the 2012. Its relevancy, or the what is IGBP and what is its relevance. So it was about to expire in 2015. So they asked the question in 2012. So that type of the reports, the international organizations, international international collaborations, agreements. So we have to look into. So what the recent reports, recent agreements, different countries or the UNO or the another some environmental organizations they have made. So particularly for that, the reports are very important for this part. Okay. Then after for perspective in human geography. Perspective in human geography, you have 1 or 2, 3 sources. Generally people for beginner it is Majid Hussain. Or it is R.D. Dixit. You can go for R.D. Dixit is a good book. You can prefer for the R.D. Dixit. If you have already the geography background, then you can go for Sudipta Adhikari. Sudipta Adhikari. Or there is one book is for Lalita Rana. This is new book is there. If you find it, it is very good book for the thought. New book is there. I am especially preferring for this Lalita Rana book. So with some intention that you might get the question from this book, possibly, right? Okay. After perspective, there we have number 5, economic geography. Economic geography, population, regional planning, and then after there is models and theories. Models and theory. Economic geography you can take economic geography by Alexander. Now what to do? What is your homework for this? In the economic geography, in Alexander book is good, but they have this is the old print. So update it with the current information, current data. Then after population, for population you take it R.C. Chandna, population settlement. R.C. Chandna, he is a professor in Punjab, Chandigarh University. Regional planning, R.P. Mishra. If it is available, very good book. Models and theories, Majid Hussain. Models and theories for Majid Hussain. So these are some important books for covering this paper 1, right? So this is all about the paper 1 here. So we'll start for the paper 2, then later on we will talk about how to deal with the questions. Okay, paper 2 part is geography optional. Paper 2 is straightforward question, the paper Geography of India. By name itself, it looks simple. The topics are here: physical setting, resources, agriculture, then after industries, trade, transport, and communication. Then after there is cultural setting, cultural setting, population and settlement, population and settlement. Then after regional planning, regional planning. Then after there is a political aspect, political aspects, and then after no topic is left. Yes, regional planning and development. Regional planning and development. So you will find there this is 10 topics almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is contemporary issues. Contemporary issues. You will find here this is common topics, all common topics with general studies. Some common topics with the general studies are there. So in this general studies, if this is general studies, so we do not have to write a general question. In general studies, what is there? You should not be so expert there in the writing the answer. So your approach in the general studies should be balanced. It should be balanced. So they are not asking you to write a very high-fi words, very high-fi information. So just give a glimpse of this any subject matter, right? So in this part, when you are writing here this part, how to bring a geographical perspective, because if you write a general studies answer, you will get 90, 100 or sometime 80 also out of 250 marks, because that is very general. Now the question here is how to bring the geographical perspective, because the problem there is the student do not understand how to bring the geographical perspective from the optional paper 2. The questions are more or less similar to the general studies paper or the general studies questions. So then they are not much able to bring the geographical perspective, so that we have to work hard on that. We have to develop that approach that is there applicable for or that needs the geographical perspective. Now the question here is, suppose this is all the geographical aspect, you can go for this is easy part of the paper 2. So more or less it is application of paper 1, that is geomorphology, part of paper 1 geomorphology, but here you have to have this some specific characteristics of physical features of India. Specific characteristics of physical features of India. Abhi what they are doing here, they have brought us a slight change over here in this physical aspect. Now earlier they were asking a totality of this physical aspect. Suppose they were asking the Himalayas, comparison, plateaus, peninsula, then after desert, something like that. Some questions that they were asking their formation, their reformation, then they are the features, important features. Now they have started shifting on this part about the regional features or comparison or similarities. Suppose, for example, they have asked the question once, the what is the similarity between Meghalaya and Chota Nagpur Plateau? How they have been splitted away. So this was the question there in the exam. The characteristics of the Meghalaya Plateau and Chota Nagpur Plateau and how they have splitted away, how they are similar. So this type of the question they have started asking on this. And probably there are they are the possibilities that they switch over this particular regional feature or the regional geography. They may also ask you some physical and the regional characteristics of any of the physical features which are there over the Deccan Plateau, Himalayas, then some plain areas also. So means this whole area has been explored, over exploited. Now they are going over the regional geography of this physical aspects, right? Okay. Then after this rest of the part other than physical setting, this whole rest of the part in the paper 2, okay, in the paper 2 up to topic 9, political aspect. Paper 1, topic 10, contemporary issues is again, it is again the application of geomorphology, climatology, oceanography there. Because in the contemporary issues there are cyclone, earthquake, then after cyclones are there, earthquakes are there, and in this part there drought, flood. So all these aspects are there. So where you can apply the paper 1 into the paper 2. For example, if the question is there, flood in India, this is of paper 2. In flood in India, then you can apply the part of the paper 1 into the paper 2. कैसे बोलेंगे इसको? You can apply the concept of channel morphology, erosional surface, slope development. Channel morphology में see the channel morphology of the particular river which is causing the flood. Channel morphology of the river which is causing the flood. Number 2, slope of that surface. Slope means steep, moderate, or flat. So means if the slope is steeper, then the flood will be more there in the valley area. If the slope is flat, then there will be more larger area will be affected. So slope development, right? Then after erosional surface, what type of the erosional surface is there? So whether it is plain, plateau, mountains, so this type of, if this you apply there of the paper 1 to the paper 2, then you can find out the cause of the flood, causes of flood. So that is very, very important, the application of paper 1 into the paper 2, right? Similarly to the earthquake, cyclone, environmental issues, right? So the environmental issues are there, deforestation is there, desertification is there. Once the question, they have asked the question, what are the remedies of the desertification in Punjab and Haryana. So these are the contemporary issues which are there. We have already in the topic of environment and biogeography in paper 1, and here this is the application of that part there in the paper 2. Okay. Then after there on this, here I want to give the emphasis over this part of this 2 to topic 9. This is 8 topics. In these 8 topics, these will look similar to the GS. For example, in agriculture, we study white revolution, we study Green Revolution in the paper 2, this same question they have asked in General Studies 2018 mains paper 1, 10 marks. So, this is more or less similar to the GS, but how to bring the geographical perspective. Should differ from answer of the General Studies. So, that we have to be very much cautious while writing the answer. Now, there are the tools of the geography which will be making the answer very much specific of geographical perspective. Number 1 number 1 is diagrams, then after map. Suppose for example, a GS person will write a general question, and here in geographical perspective you draw the areas of Green Revolution implemented zones or regions, right. So, this is phase 1, phase 2, right, and then after this is, or you can give the areas of, this is the areas of first Green Revolution. In the areas wherever in India the first Green Revolution was started, or the first phase of the Green Revolution was started, then after the sum of the areas in the country have been included in the second Green Revolution, right. Or in another way, if I explain this same the Green Revolution part or the some other aspect, I will go for this phase wise explanation, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. So, in this phase I will go with a very slow growth, and then in slow growth, right. If I want to see here, then I can show another attribute or the crop for this in the Green Revolution. Suppose I go for this is wheat, and again there in the later period here, this is, I can write here the years also, this period to this year, here this period this year. So, I can start here from the rice, the wheat will be increasing, rice will be increasing, then stagnation is there, and then the decline of the phase, right. Or the wheat has declined or the rice has declined and some other crop has established. This is from another crop, sugar cane, this cereals. So, they will be taking place in the Green Revolution. So, in this part I will be using this graph chart. Okay. For example, not the agriculture, this, and suppose if I take the trade, right, in the trade. So, in the trade I will again go for this graph up to 1960, 1980, 1990 or 91 I can also take, and then 2000 to 2011. So, in the terms of the trade, this trade was more in the slow rate, this was, or I will take here the commodities, heavy industries. Later on there was agriculture was very low. In the 1960s their agriculture increased, and this was maintaining the balance. Then after agriculture declined because we became the self-reliance. Import decreased, and to some extent in some of the commodities we started exporting. Then after this was heavy industries, this started declining and then there was a rise of. in this term I can take this services of the different component. Like I can go for the heavy industries increasing and declining. Service sector suddenly increased from 1991 to 2011 till date. So this way in terms of trade I can draw this type of the diagram or the graph chart. Similarly to the population, to the regional planning, then the industrial phase. So industries also I can go for up to the industries. Here there was a heavy industries 1991, this on the age of globalization heavy industries are decreasing, then the software industries or the service sector industries have taken the very high boost there in the Indian market. So this way I will be dealing with, I'll suggest you to deal with the geographical perspective, to bring this geographical perspective in the questions which are very much general, similar to the general studies. So you should follow that approach, and then after you must make maps. If you are talking about some trade pattern, if you are talking about some migration pattern, so migration you can easily see this map there from particular centers to, these are the their agricultural land to industrial land or the industrial sectors. Simple migration you can show on the map, like from Bihar to Madhya Pradesh, Bihar to this migration is a short distance and the long distance. Some people from Bihar they are going to West Bengal, Calcutta. Some people from the Bihar they are going to the Mumbai, from Bihar to Delhi for the job. So this way you can take this the help of the diagram in the paper 2. So paper 2 is very much dynamic. Paper 2 is open ended. See, I told you there in the paper 1 is structured and static, but paper 2 is open ended. So they can ask you question from any end. Population settlement, no end. There and after cultural setting, they can ask you the question on the current affair basis. Why this social, why this there has been the suppose the question is like what are the factors responsible for the or remedies for the communities or the communal rights. So this type of the suggestion they can ask you, or suggestion for the communal harmony. What you would suggest for the communal harmony of any particular area? So that is the cultural setting. So this type of the question they are asking you. 2017 there was a question like in 2017 the question was what are the basis of, or I'll just read out the question there. That important question was there in the 2017, yes, paper 2. Yes, identify the Naxal affected area in India and discuss their socio-economic problems. If you see this part, identify the Naxal affected area in India and discuss their socio-economic problems. Cultural setting again, Naxal affected area you have to, now this is the 3-dimensional question. One is social problem, one is cultural area because Naxal affected areas are belonging to the cultural communities. Then after the question is from their tribal people, so interest of the tribes are there, always problem is there. Then after their socio-economic problem, this is some of the part of the social issues which is there, you have this in the general studies paper 1. In this part there is a like open ended and multi-dimensional question. We have to develop the geographical perspective. अब geographical perspective कैसे लेके आना इसमें? When we are drawing, when we are making or attempting this question, and it is very beautiful question to attempt and give a very appropriate answer. Definitely, suppose if I being a geographer, myself is an examiner, being a geographer, in future if I am appointed in the university and being a geographer, if I attempt the checking of this type of the question, then I'll be happy to have this type of the question writing in the geographical perspective, like the question, the first part of the question is identify the Naxal affected area in India. So draw the map. And then show this all, give it red corridor, right. You will write your answer starting with Naxal affected area is also called red corridor, right. Naxal affected area is also called. Now you have given a geographical perspective here. Number one, you will show here some mountains and hills, they say, because this area is all rugged topography here. When you will write their problem, you will mention this geographical limitation of these tribal people or these communities. Though then only your geographical perspective will be emerging in the answer. Otherwise, this is general question, right. And then after paper 2 is also very much linked to the current affair. Right, current affairs. So in the current affair, I want to give you just one more example of this question. Explain the interstate issues involved in implementation of Satluj Yamuna Link Canal project. So in 2015, 16, 17, Satluj Yamuna Link Canal was very much in the news because that time Delhi was facing the crisis of water during the pre-monsoon period. So the government of India was government of Delhi was continuously requesting Punjab and Haryana government to release the water, and there was a proposal of the construction of Satluj Yamuna Canal, and then the agreement was signed, made. So there has been the question in the examination. So we have to be aware about the recent news. So that is all the current affair. So that is my idea to focus your attention is, my intention is to attention of your focus is towards the current information. I want you should write your answers in paper 2 with a full of maps and diagrams. If you want to bring them there in the geographical perspective, otherwise your answer will be absolutely general studies part, and which will be very, very difficult to convince the examiner and to force him to give you the good marks. So sometime you will find the geography optional paper 2 is very, very poor marking, and the students are not getting the good marks because the students lacks there they have always the problem how to generate geographical perspective in the general questions, and many of the students are writing there the question is very much journalistic approach or the journalistic manner. So this way I'll say this is the write your answer with a full of diagrams and full of maps with the complete approach of geography, show you that you are a geographer. So draw maps, beautiful diagrams, even though to some extent may be compromisable, but it should be visible that it is India, right, and then show the diagram there also. Okay. So this should be your approach for this paper 2, current affair, maps, diagrams, and then see the answer should be definition, or I'll say introduction. Introduction includes your definition also, right. Introduction means, for introduction is a complete explanation of your answer. First when you give the introduction, so your introduction should be the complete crux of the answer or crux of your answer. Then it should be followed by the definition. Introduction, definition after the one paragraph, this next paragraph. Then after traditional information, or we can simply say the characteristics, geographical characteristics. Then after should be your current information if something has happened, because in the paper 2 they are intentionally asking the question on certain topics, like 2000 this was Satluj Yamuna link canal. Current information, then after there is conclusion. Right? Here your will be map or diagram. Here also you will have the map and diagram. This also will have your maps and diagrams. So in this way your answer will be completely of the geographical perspective. Right? I hope you have understood of this aspect what I am trying to convey. Right? Okay. So then after rest of the part I feel nothing is okay. Some issues are also there, agriculture issues are also there in the recent time. The farmers are not getting the proper MSP, the farmers are committing suicide, right. So this type of the problem. And now here is the attention of the examiner. Why there is a regionalistic differentiation in the committing suicide, right? Or why more farmers committing suicide in the southern India? So if such type of the question is there, you have to include the geographical perspective related with the topography or the soil, nature of soil. Then after you will have to give emphasis over the monsoon pattern or the rainfall pattern of India. If you do not describe, if you do not mention and write your rainfall pattern of India, your answer never be complete. I can challenge it as per of my approach. I'll never accept your answer once you do not give your geographical perspective in the answer with relating to the climate, with relating to the topography, with relating to the rainfall pattern. So your answer will not be complete. So this type of the issues are there. So then after you can have the correct answer or the appropriate answer which demands the examiner. 2018 again there was a question. That question speaks about explain the unusual intensity of dust storm and thunderstorms across India in a pre-monsoon period of 2018. Specifically they have asked you the incident of 2018 during the pre-monsoon period. Abhi, this is absolutely correct. No need to explain anything. This was of the 10 marks question. See, UPSC is also knowing that if the text is less limited or the less available, or you are supposed to write less, they are giving the less marks. This question was for the 10 marks only. So this was purely yours current affair. So in this case, yours significance in the current affair, importance of newspaper increases. So for optional you cannot ignore the reading the newspaper, right? And then after this all questions are, or rather the whole of the paper 2 is based on case studies. Must write case studies in the paper 2, right? Up now how the question, right? Now the question is here again, it comes in my mind, so should also come there in your mind, like case studies, where to collect the case studies, what is the source of case studies. The case study source is of your recent journals, magazines and the newspaper their informations. For example, I will say first any of the good newspaper you should take up and take the articles from there. Second is Yojana. Third is Kurukshetra. And then fourth is Down to Earth. So these are days you will have some case studies. For example, in recent issue, this Kurukshetra has been entitled with the non-farm sectors. This is rural areas, non-farm sectors. Now this non-farm sectors, there are the different and or several articles are there in the newspaper, in the Kurukshetra. Now you have to find out according to your syllabus, according to the Geography of India, agriculture's part. So what case study is relevant for your syllabus? So pick up that case study and insert that in your notes or the book, which will be helpful for discussing or enhancing the quality of your answer. Include this or enhance this with the maps and diagram. Then your answer case study will become very, very beautiful. Examiner will be happy and will give you the very good marks. So this type of the case studies you can collect it from these journals or the magazines, right? Then after overall talking about of this optional paper of geography. So I'll count one or two advantages, disadvantage. I'll count the one or two. First, I'll take disadvantage. Number one, it is little bit lengthy. So, number two, number of students, number of aspirants. Number of aspirants, those who are selecting the geography as an optional is a very, very big. If suppose there is a 15,000 students are passing the, if 15,000 students are passing the prelims exam, so about 3 to 4,000 are writing with the geography optional. One reason for this is, there is one big reason is, the geography is very, very popular subject in all over India. All universities of the India, they teach geography as a subsidiary or the main subject. So geography becomes very familiar. The geography is a very familiar subject to all the school passing or the college passing students, particularly belonging to the humanities. And as the geography is scoring, so some of the science students also enter there in the selecting or opting this geography optional. So this is, number is big. Advantages are very, very great. Advantages of geography optional is, number one is high scoring. It is high scoring. Since the beginning of the UPSC exam or this UPSC mains examination, this 3-tier system of the examination, geography has been always favorite and high scoring optional. It has been the trend when the other optional has not been scoring, but geography has been giving the very, very good marks to the student, those who are really working hard. Number two, it will make you comfortable for GS1, GS2 particularly IR section, GS3, GS1, GS2 and GS3, right. Okay. Then after it will help you for essay. So its dimension is, geography dimension is very big. So at the end of the day you will be very comfortable in a, you will be very comfortable with the geography optional, because it is covering the large part. Because it is covering the large part of your GS1. Why you might have some doubt on this. Why IR? How the geography is helpful in the IR? I give you the one approach. Once you are writing the international, or once you are writing the bilateral relationship, between the two countries. Suppose for example, I tell you this, you are writing the relationship between India and China. Once you describe the basis of their relation, or the positive, negative, positive in terms of trade, in 2009, 10, 11, the India signed an agreement with the China that they will conduct a trade from Nathula Pass. So Nathula is completely a geographical entity, and when you show the route of the trade, definitely you will have to show there on the map, and will give you the 10% edge than the other. Then you are talking about the dispute between India and China. You will talk about the location or the extension of the disputed areas which took place 2 years back. That was the Doklam issue, Chumbi Valley. Then you will show there on the map. Then that will give you the definitely an edge than the other ordinary answers. When you will talk about there is an issue on the McMahon line between India and China, definitely you will make the McMahon line, which is a boundary, political boundary between India and China, give you the edge. So then when you are having the such of the edges in the international relation with the application of the geography, I can challenge you, definitely you will have the better edges than the other students, those who are writing the answers with non-geography background. So that is the advantage of the geography optional. So I wish you all the best to all. So we'll continue with our optional subject, and then after we will have continuous classes after this. I wish you all the best, and follow this approach, and definitely you will have the good marks. Thank you so much.